Doctors. I'm your host, Brian Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt Zombie Dog Mark Twain Dykes.
I say, this is a podcast, y'all, I believe.
What
I do declare.
God's green earth was that?
That's a British American accent, I guess.
A British American
No.
Southern accent.
Yeah. It was
What?
very
Fog, no, it's
Foghorn
Foghorn
Leghorn.
Leghorn.
It is
Yeah.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yes,
yeah.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah. I liked it. I'm here for it. We also have Joel Woodrow Wilson DeWitt.
I don't get it.
Just the middle school.
Yeah, because your
That-
kids go to the
okay.
middle school.
Okay. All right.
Is
Fair.
that because that's where his
Fair.
kid goes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're in the good place of middle schools and where we live.
You really are. You really are. Because I would be the bad place.
Uh-huh.
Well,
That's why my kid's going where he's going.
continuing my streak of being mean to Ryan, we also have Ryan Robert E. Lee Lutens.
Yeah, no.
That dude like the South Shore Rise Again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That he didn't even say that. Like, I got nothing.
The only concept I have of that
Legitimately
joke
has
is
nothing.
the only thing I have, like my knowledge of Robert E. Lee is literally a joke in The Simpsons where Apu is playing him in their Civil War reenactments.
Yeah, sounds about right. Was not a nice man. And that's why I like giving Ryan the mean nicknames. It was either gonna be that or Michelangelo. And I thought he'd have too much fun with Michelangelo.
I
So
would.
Yeah.
Thanks for Robert E. Lee.
He was a good turtle. To be fair, he was probably the best turtle. Though.
yeah, great turtle, great painter, great all around.
I
He was
mean,
a painter.
I
How did he
could
paint with his
say,
turtle hands?
Robert E. Lee was a beloved general, but for the wrong
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah. Again, influential people, not good people,
Right.
influential people. They can be good. They can also be Robert E. Lee. Thanks, Ryan, for your horrible nickname. Anyhow,
I mean,
anytime.
can you have a search through that list? Is Hitler on there? Because I guarantee that he's influential.
he might be in the top 10. Moving on.
Oh my God.
Saving that for
We,
the
finally,
finale.
we finally got there.
We got there last time with the other list where I was trying to avoid Hitler, and he was number one. Like, good Lord. The internet loves Hitler.
That was
Our
the
world is
best.
forked.
That was the ranker list of best people that had been obviously taken over by right wing nutcases, though,
Well,
right?
it wasn't rank. It was like some college experiment where like there was
Oh,
like
it was an
write-ins.
EDU website.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was one
Oh
that
yeah,
had
it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Had the write-ins for Bill and Hillary Clinton in the top 10. I'm glad I found that list. That was a joy. I'm glad we left Ranker behind, because that wasn't as much fun. And now the random lists I'm finding online are way better. Let's get started. Employee of the Baramy and Chip Driver Mystery. Continuing on what Matt called out very accurately last week, our ability to have great pairing episodes has kind of melted away. These two kind of stand on their own, especially Chip Driver Mystery, which is very much a tee up for the next episode.
I see what you did there.
Aha.
That's
Thank you.
very Brent of you.
Daddy likes golfy.
Oh God.
I hate saying it.
Don't. I hate hearing it.
I mean, my shorts do say rad dad, so you know there's something, right? Maybe no. Okay, great.
You know when they say that if you have to ask if you're cool, you're not cool.
No,
Yeah, I never asked, so I never got confronted with that reality.
I just always knew I wasn't. It's a lot easier that way.
We're here podcasting on a Saturday morning. Like I think the verdict's already in.
I mean,
You
you're
could
on
have
a
stopped that we're
Saturday-
here podcasting.
I'm
Yeah.
on a Saturday
Verdict is in.
night.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm going
This
to a
is
concert
Saturday
this
morning.
Yeah, so I'm going to a concert on Saturday night, so it's not as bad. Going to Hollywood Bowl and you can see them do the Infinity Marvel concert. It's gonna be really cool.
I should have came out this week.
Yeah,
And I'm podcasting on a
I
Saturday
don't
night.
know.
Right
Fast
now.
forward.
Employee
mean-
of the Baramy.
Such a good episode.
Such a good episode. Going
Let's
back to
actually talk about it this time.
yes, going back to the bad place. We got Michael and Jason on their way to go find the good Janet who got marbleized, and they've never really talked about how they unmarbleize Janets, but there must be a way to do it because she's
They
not
do.
a
She
marble.
is.
Yeah.
They haven't they they've done this before though, haven't they? Where they
I think
marbleize
they have, yeah.
one and then like it got unmarbleized, but there's never any sort of like real explanation of how
Yeah.
it was unmarbleized.
Yeah, I don't really get that, but whatever. She's unmarbleized. It'd be a bummer if she was permanently marbleized. I'm glad no one ate her for that excellent source of potassium.
I guess you could like maybe try and get the pin back into the. Maybe you need a smaller pin though.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
It's like those little pins on the side of your phones in order to open the SIM card.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, so they're on the way back down, and they need to get Jason in the right headspace. So they start things off this week by giving him back all of his memories, which we find out it's about 300 years. So now, if we hadn't got that firm answer yet, now we have definitely more of a firm answer. They've been dead for about 300 years. What does Jason do with his new 300 years of memories? He remembers the most recent time that he threw a Molotov cocktail and is very proud of himself.
Michael was also very disappointed that throughout the 300 years of memory that was inserted,
That was the one thing that came back to him.
that came back.
I don't think it was disappointing. I think he figured that would be the one thing that he would focus on.
I think he's more disappointed that he was right. He's like,
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So we have no Janet now in the medium places, good place / bad place neighborhood. That's a weird jump to get there. But that means that we need to rely on Derek to keep all the little Janet babies alive. Not
Derek and his champagne glass full of Scrabble letters.
See, the shot in the background of him dumping them on his face, absolutely brilliant. No notes, it's the best show.
What kills that though is the way that he right after that he just goes
yeah.
But Derek is rather confident he can do it. It does not go well, as you would expect. It is Derek after all. But I love it. I think it's great. So they need to get the humans out of there. So they decide to come up with these ideas that all of the humans, even the Janet babies, are going to be doing throughout this time. A group gets to go gardening. Another group gets to go, I think, like painting or something like that. And then the humans get to go to the lake house.
Suck it, gardeners.
Thanks, Brent. Oh, he's the worst.
He really is.
So they all have to go to the lake house. Chidi decides, I don't like swimming in water. It stresses him out. I'm just going to stay home, which is a very big problem when your neighborhood's not fully working.
Yeah.
Tahani gets a little bit of an arc here, which I appreciate. She's starting to realize that she is her best self. And because she's her best self, she wants more responsibility. But that's not what the situation calls for, which is kind of upsetting for her. I like this stuff with Tahani. I think she does a good job with it.
This is what I meant last week in terms of the kind of meta commentary about it and how, like, it's true. So much of her character activities are go throw a party because that's the one thing we know you're good at. And it has to feel really diminishing from someone who's felt that they've grown and developed since then. Now she struggles a little bit this episode, but like the intent and actually trying to make a difference. It reminds me a little bit of the scenario when they were in the post office of the good place and she's trying to help Janet through her feelings, right?
Yeah.
So
like she is, as I said last week, she is her best self. Her arc is essentially done. She's ready for what her life could have been. And she's running into these brick walls of like, we're not ready for you yet. It's great that you're ready, but we still need old Tahani. We need a party at a lake house that will be so great, no one will want to leave. And she's like, but why can't I help here? Like, and then she does try to help. Not her forte. No, it was a dead unicorn. What? No, it's just a regular horse.
That someone stabbed in the head.
In the head. What? Stop helping Tahani.
What it leads to like a really great kind of like heart to heart between Tahani and Eleanor, where they basically explain like, you know, why Eleanor's so good at the things that she's doing now and why Tahani's not so great at them. But it's the things that are needed are the things that Eleanor's good at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, like being able to just like come up with stuff off the cuff is something that Eleanor has worked on for a long time. That has been her life.
Not even worked on. It's just how she's had to live. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, like her life was making shit up, essentially, like just lying to get through life. Whereas Tahani, her life wasn't that way. She's never had to really do that.
Yeah, and what she did have to do was throw parties. And this situation legitimately calls for a party. You have one of the best party planners in all the Baramies. Why wouldn't you use that party planner? And I get that, like, since she's so evolved, she doesn't really want to do that anymore. Like, I totally understand where everyone's coming from this episode. Lo and behold, the writing's really good.
Who'd have thought?
I know. Have we mentioned how good the writing is yet?
No.
But I really like, I enjoy that whole thing. But I gotta say, like, I love them kind of like arguing and a little bit like spitting back and forth. Like, it's all good, and it keeps Eleanor on her toes, but not to the point where Eleanor has another breakdown. Like, I like that we're kind of past that with her now. Like, she's ready for the next thing too. Like, all right, how do we keep these people going? But at the same time, we do have a whole other storyline going on in the Bad Place, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Where a lot of the heart of this episode is.
Demon Con.
Demon Con is great. Sounds absolutely miserable, but these are demons throwing it, so that makes sense.
What was it, like the 1,000th
Hour
annual?
52 of a $4,000 preset or 4,000 hour presentation.
Yeah.
That just sounds terrible. But I enjoy watching.
And they've got a collective smell of BO and coffee breath.
That's rough, man.
It's better than a
Michael,
match
your
at the
suit smells
Gathering
horrible.
tournament.
Or Vicky, your suit smells horrible.
Joel is dead on, by the way. I'm not sure if everybody heard that one.
I heard it.
The thing I really like in this one, though, is I like seeing Michael have to go back through the Bad Place now that he is his best self, if you will. Like, especially seeing his Employee of the Bearimy picture is a very, very good
being
moment.
confronted with that version of himself, and and his little sort of like, again, his little heart-to-heart with Jason is quite nice as well.
And if you think about it, like, the grand scheme of his life arc, he hasn't spent that much of his life trying to be good and having this change of heart. So it's got to be that extra level of weird for his character to go back and be like, I've changed and you've all stayed the same way.
Well, except Glenn.
Except Glenn.
Yeah.
Now he's just
Shut up, Glenn.
But I really, I don't think we've really talked on this much. I love this arc from Michael as a demon. Like, the whole, like, no, I was doing the right thing. I was torturing people because they were bad people and they deserved it. And then I found out I was wrong. I love that, like, existential crisis for a demon. Like, I think it's a really cool storyline that we get. Like, they don't focus on it a ton in here, but they give it enough that I'm like, that's one of my favorite storylines in this entire thing of, like, no, the demon wasn't a bad guy. He was just a bad guy. If that makes sense.
I like that.
It's the Wreck-It Ralph thing.
Yeah.
It's the thing of, like, the demons are not necessarily bad people, because they're doing a job which they are hired to do or exist to do or whatever, however that works. But in their mind, the people they're doing it to do actually deserve it. Like, in their mind, all these people are like Hitler's, the Stalins, the sort of, those really
Robert
evil
E. Lee's.
people. Yeah, the Robert E. Lee's of society and of the world. And, like, the reason why these people are being tortured is it's not like they're not doing it for a perverse sense of fun. I mean, I guess some of them are, like Sean, but
they love their job. Like, they didn't think there was a downside to it.
Yeah, not only that, but, like, through Michael and there's investigation, they find out it's legitimately a structural institutional failing.
Yeah.
And a system glitch, rather than, for the most part, these demons going out of the way trying to keep the status quo because they liked it that way. Sean and Co. namely.
Yeah.
It would be like in our world, if you were to get charged, like, you as a regular person, you use a mobile phone because that mobile phone is built by slave labor, like the battery is mined from a slave mine. So you're then all of a sudden sent to The Hague to answer for crimes against humanity because you use a mobile phone. It's the disparity there of, like, how people are actually getting tortured now versus 500 years ago or something, when it was just, oh, you're an evil piece of crap.
Yeah.
We will murder you, we will torture you because you are evil and have tortured other people.
Which, that makes sense. Like, that person, I'm no judge, but that makes, I understand why they're there. But but I like seeing Michael have to wrestle with that. And like that moment where he's like looking at the pictures, like the amount of like people that I hurt and the evil behind those eyes, it's just not who I am anymore. But like Ted Danson again sells that insanely well in a rather goofy episode, but it works phenomenally.
And I think it works out too, because he's sitting here. There's I like the duality, because when Vicky comes out on the stage, it really drives home the change that our Michael has made, as opposed to what Vicky is showing, and especially in the beginning when she has this caricature of Michael. I think that the testament of Ted Danson's portrayal, the fact that he can play a caricature of himself, someone who has completely changed, and then him being impersonated by someone. We see that all in this episode, and it is very, again, we'll go back and say it's very, it's a crime that this man did not win an Emmy for this role.
Yeah.
It is so unfortunate for him in the way we're watching that it's so close to Janet doing a much better job of that kind of acting.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's another piece of evidence about how Ted Danson has just been a rock star.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where you go back and you look at not season 1, because for the most part he is Michael the good guy, but like very last episode of season 1, early episode of season 2, where he is Michael the demon.
Yeah.
The mannerisms that Vicky has as Michael the demon, they match that version of Michael.
At least way better. She still has a laugh wrong, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, yes, the laugh is like, I got in my head about that. But it is that's like, it is more that Michael, and that's no longer Michael. Michael has evolved and changed, and he has become a better person because of it, but he's no longer that sort of like mustachio twirling, I'm evil. Mwah. He's more like, I'm less evil now. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have gone back and listened to that laugh when he first got caught.
Yeah.
Just for comparison's sake.
I mean, that would be kind of fun.
It is a really kind of like almost jokery style laugh. It's kind of like kind of laugh.
Yeah, I like it. It was a good laugh. It was a good bad guy laugh. He was a good bad guy. Like if he had never turned into the Michael we love, he still would have been a great bad guy. Would he have been what's his name? Mark Everett Jackson? Sean? No, Sean is an absolutely brilliant bad guy in this show.
What's so great about Sean is just how dismissive he is as well of everyone.
Oh my
god. Like, when he gets splattered with goo.
Oh, come on. Just like going back to like when he gets pulled into the IHOP as well, and he's like he's explaining the plot of like Entourage
to Shakespeare, right?
Yeah. And he's right in the middle of like mid sentence, like, and then Ronda Rousey's like, oh come on. He does that sort of like exacerbated, annoyed. I was in the middle of having a lot of fun. Why have you pulled me away from that so well? It's
just that like a demon exploder. Come on, at least try to make it sound convincing. Blam! Wow. Touche.
Yeah. That was on my short list. Wow. Touche.
A rare moment of him being humbled.
Yes.
It's just the way he stood there with the goo on him. And it's just, wow. Touche.
And then the rest of the demons, the demon kind of like, whoa, that's cool.
I love that as well, because like he said, this is real. Stop clapping. This is real. Stop them. They're getting away. This is real. Stop it.
Because the lava monster production value of Demon Con gets better every year.
It's coming from a CGI character is what makes that beautiful.
A pretty good CGI character as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's no monster horse from last week's episode, but we have our benchmark, which gets beaten next recording session. Just so you know. I know it's a ways away.
To do with a chainsaw.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Not going to say anything.
Just wondering if we're at that point yet.
Not saying anything. Nothing at all. Moving on. So they're on stage. They have to convince Michael that he is both Vicky, and then Vicky shows up. They get their breakaway moment, as we just discussed. This is real, and they're on their way out. They're heading back to the good place. We are almost at a Chip Driver mystery. Janet and Jason are back together. Janet never broke up with Jason. She never would have broken up with Jason because Janet's the best, and she can run a neighborhood and stay in love with Jason because she is awesome. Not a girl, not a she, not all those things. The Janet, you know what I mean. She did have to break the news that unfortunately they did get rid of Blake Bortles, which is a bummer, but they replaced him with Foles.
Foles
won a Super Bowl. We're going to be unstoppable. Foles.
And Nick Foles just broke his clavicle.
No.
Now, I don't follow sports ball of any type. Did that actually happen? Did he break his clavicle?
2019.
Yep.
So Nick Foles is a
Is that
quarterback.
potentially something that like they were about to go to air and then that happened and then they just looped that in?
it happened
I don't know
well
when
before
I just know it happened in that
Okay.
season. So.
Yeah, it happened.
Then
well
Nick
enough.
Foles came to play for the Bears.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
He is somebody based off of one or two fantastic seasons fooled people into thinking he could be a potential
he could
lead.
Be,
And it was just sort of like a flute. This is my one shining moment kind of thing instead. So,
once we're done with the show, Matt can watch it now, but Ryan and Joel should wait till we're done. But there is a video on YouTube that is just called the best of the Good Place cast. And it's a lot of like behind the scenes, like cell phone footage they took of themselves while they're on set or at the award ceremonies and that sort of stuff. It's absolutely phenomenal, but there's spoilers in it. So you want to wait if you haven't caught up all the way.
mm-hmm.
But there's one moment where it shows all the different takes they did of them sitting on the little push cart screaming Foles. And it's absolutely phenomenal. Like the one that I saw that had me the most, like it looked like almost like they're doing the scene from Titanic, but they're all just like their arms out, just going Foles. it's I love this stuff. They look like they were the most fun cast ever. They had a lot of fun dancing. They always took little videos whenever they lost at the Emmys, like we lost again.
Which is some bullshit.
It is. But the video starts out with Manny Jason and then I was gonna try to say both their real names, but I can't remember them right now. So Jason and Chidi doing Chidi's Kierkegaard rap and like this like black and white like music video-esque thing. It's phenomenal. Check it out once we're done with the show. That's my end of the plug for this thing. Let's talk about a Chip Driver mystery.
I really want to read this book.
I want to read it. So the fact that the book is done on page 10 is one of the most phenomenal things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read this book. So I'm right there with Bad Janet. Like when he hands her the book of their entire experiment, like, oh, is that Prince's book? I'd be just as excited.
What's the remainder of that book about?
Right.
I mean, it's half golf instruction, half I don't remember all the halves. It's
a spy.
3/3 of a book.
A spy golf tutorial, submarine, murder mystery, erotic memoir, political thriller, and a commentary on society.
So you wrote 3/3 of a book.
3.5 books. Like,
3.5 books. That's right.
Yeah, and if that, like,
I mean, the murder mystery is over before he even gets on the submarine. I'm guessing.
I would assume so. The book is unfortunately also filled with a whole bunch of rather racist depictions of everybody in the store, of everybody in the Good Place.
Don't forget the sexism.
And sexism. It is an absolute travesty of a book that he wants Simone to intro him for, and in a world without money is charging $65 for.
I mean, I saw how thick the book that he was holding was. I've held the full version of Stephen King's The Stand, which is about 1,200 pages long.
Bookshelf way over there. Yeah.
The Stand looked thinner than what he was holding.
I mean,
that's a long book. I don't want to read it.
This is a book I just bought, and that looks about the same size, right?
No, it was way thicker. It was like that.
Was it thicker? I mean, it's still.
It was very thick.
No.
Either way, it's too much book. This book's supposed to be really good, by the way. I want to read it.
Why don't you have Joel read it for us?
Because then I'll never get read.
I was going to say, are you ready to wait until 2026?
I'm on God Emperor of Dune.
I gave up in Messiah. That is not a great book.
That's why it's so short. Once you get past it, though, Children of Dune's okay.
That doesn't. Children of Dune is okay is not a very big, like, you should read this. It's
Listen to it.
fine.
All right, let's talk about Chip's book.
Yeah, that sounds much better.
I'm
Can we
reading
talk
The
about the
Lady in
back
the Lake.
cover? Can we talk about the back cover because it's so him? Because in my opinion, Top Gun is one of the
The
worst ever made.
The
But you can see
author's
why
photo.
you can see why
That's
he'd
why
love
he
it.
loves it.
Yeah, you can see him loving it. Like, that tracks. I
Yeah.
don't hate Top Gun, but I don't think I've seen Top Gun since I was in high school, which is embarrassingly long ago.
This is what I'm gonna say. Nothing happens in that movie.
They fly planes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
They
Great
have
work.
they
Nothing
have
happens in the
very
movie.
romantic sex. Backlit
Nothing
by blue
happens
light.
in that movie, Brian.
But that's
I
in
mean,
every 80s movie.
I was just about to say, like, you could be talking about Bloodsport right now.
Let's talk
And-
about Bloodsport right now. I love Bloodsport.
And that's a great movie.
That is, I love Bloodsport. Let's go.
I love Bloodsport. And I also love The Quest, the unofficial sequel
Yes!
to Bloodsport. Yeah, all great
the-
movies.
But the fact that Brett is sitting there posed like Tom Cruise, and then when they go to like the official party, the banner to get in is based on the promotional work of Top Gun. Is
It's
all
so funny.
flawless. I love it.
This is some great. If you're a fan of Brent,
the pile
I
of
don't-
golf balls as well. That he
That's
has, like,
so
the pyramid
good.
Of,
Yeah.
the pyramid of golf balls on his little stand. Why?
I love Brent's character as much as I hate Brent's character, but this is like the prime rib of Brent stuff. Like, you don't get any better Brent stuff in the entirety of this show. So, like, if you're a fan, this is where you feast. But before we get there, I just want to dial it back for 1 second to the beginning of this episode because it's great. The Brainy Bunch, they're doing well. They have figured this out. They have the experiment working, and they have to go through like their employee of the Baramy, their version of it. They have to do hottest of the thing. Poor Michael. I never get hottest. And then it just cuts to the wall, and it's all
It's
four of the
rigged.
humans. Like, it's
Even Janet. No, Janet's up
No,
there.
Janet's on there.
too. Yeah.
It's like, from what I saw, it was a mixture of Eleanor, Jason, and Janet. I didn't even see any pictures of Tahani.
Oh, Tahani was on
Yeah.
there.
Or Tahani with his six pack.
I think Tahani
Not
had
Tahani
it.
Chidi.
I think Tahani had it once.
Yeah.
She was definitely
Okay.
on there once, but she
It was
out of all of
mostly
them-
Eleanor.
Yeah, and then she won in the episode we watched, and she accepts.
Michael is sort of
Graciously
griping
accept,
to Bad Janet as an aside to the story he's telling.
Yeah.
A totally rigged hottest contest.
It's one of the things that I love about Michael. The little aside lines that he had. Like, I think it was the last episode where, like, he says, "I agree with you." Not when you sexualized a cartoon character, though. And he just does little aside
Yeah.
lines where it's like he makes a point, but he then goes back and just has a little bit of a dig.
Yeah.
I love
Just-
them so much.
Just so you know how he really feels. Let's talk a little bit about Chidi and Jason, because things start to fall apart in this episode. I guess we should talk about the framing device. I think it'll make it easier to kind of jump around, because this episode does jump around time, but that's
Yeah.
because Michael's telling a story. He's telling a story to the bad Janet that impersonated the good Janet, who is now locked in a cage in the good Janet's void. I got that all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
She's been there for 6 months, which
Yes.
is really key because it shows the progression of time that we've been now.
Yeah.
So we must be at least 9 months probably into the experiment, based on
good
like the other time jumps we've had in
Yeah,
the previous
I'd s-
episodes.
I'd say we're nearing the end for sure. It's supposed to be a year-long experiment, so we're getting nearer to the end of the experiment, and he's going to talk to Bad Janet about it and explain this whole story about how things were going great, things went really bad when Brent fully Brented,
Mhm.
and then there's another side to this. Things start getting better. I like this framing device. I think it works really well. I like the conversation between Michael and Bad Janet. It gives Darcy another chance to be an absolutely phenomenal actor, because she always is. I love seeing the two different versions of Janet. I like the whole explanation about how like this is a very smart Bad Janet, as smart as our good Janet potentially, because she's been rebooted maybe even more than our good Janet. She said
I
4
think
million
s-
times.
Yeah, he said like a few million times, which again, that's more than the good Janet was.
So potentially,
a little less sincere, but the start of the episode, the preamble before the title card, when she starts with just this earth-shattering fart, and then it
Oh, yeah.
lasts from the beginning to the title card, and then ends after.
and she's still going.
Yeah.
No, she's gonna last. See, I've never seen a show as like high prestige-esque as this thing is go to the well of fart jokes as often as this one does. And
Fart jokes that
You should,
work.
you should watch Slow
Yeah.
Horses then. That thing's getting fucking awards and it's got fart jokes.
Slow horses to you as well. There's a callback to a different podcast.
Yeah. Slow Horses.
But we get some really good Jason and Chidi stuff in this, where the things really start coming off the rails as Jason starts feeling more comfortable being with his friend Chidi and not hiding that he is Jean-Yu the monk from the other humans that are in the fake good place.
Yeah.
And the way he starts doing this, Chidi's stressed out. Is like, you just need to dance. Let's be spontaneous. I'm going to teach you how to be spontaneous. And let's not come up with like a list of top 10 things that you could be spontaneous. Come back to in a week or so. Let's just dance. Let's just do it. And he starts playing his own music. His famous song, I Love You Forever, in parentheses, make that booty bounce in the bath.
Which
Thank
he
you for
recorded
that.
whilst running away from the police.
Yes, that's actually police sounds.
Yeah, those are real. I gotta say, just a brief aside, I would go to Jason's DJ show. I would be there
too.
so fast. Like, that's some good stuff. But I love John finding out. Because John finding
Yes.
out actually shows the first real cracks in this plan of everything is so perfect that these people whose base instincts are not to go for the perfect good thing every time would start getting a little bored.
But even then, like like the look on his face really sells it. It's that what is happening? Like what?
Yeah.
Is this the end? Like I don't
This
know.
is the first time I remember seeing John struggling with anything.
Yes.
Like he's so self-assured and confident in everything else, even when Tahani's trying to sort of break through with him. And the sort of existential crisis of my whole life is about blabbing.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me I can't blab. How do I deal with this?
And he doesn't know, like, what's his line? It's like, this is tea that needs to be spilled. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, as we said in, I think it was the previous episode, he was essentially a paparazzi,
Yeah.
and the whole point of his existence was to sort of like find those things and air those secrets, and like chase that stuff until he can get something to sell. And he's been presented with this doozy of a one that
Yeah.
Jianyu the monk is not Jianyu the monk. Like, that's
And like even like his base instincts take over of is this an exclusive? Like, am I the only one who
Yeah.
knows? Like, oh, you don't understand how good this is for me. Like, I like seeing these moments because it's showing like we're legitimately testing the new class, and we don't really spend the time with him that we could or we should really, or maybe we spend just as much time as we should. But it means like these moments, it shows the strength of the show that they still land as well as they do. When we've only really spent a few episodes with John, like what, 2, 3 now? That's about it. But
Yeah.
we still know him well enough to know that when this hits, that's huge for him. And that's a real battle that he has to struggle with to not, quote unquote, spill that tea. I really like that. I think it's done really well. And then we get to see the Chidi like now I need to deal with 2 of these people. I need to convince Jason to not let the world know that he is not Jean-Yu the monk. I need to let John know that he could not spill this tea. I keep going back to that.
it's a good metaphor.
It is. It works.
It is very funny for the show, though. Like later on, it's Michael talking to Brent while playing golf, and he uses that one metaphor, and then scanning back to him talking to Janet. You thought that Ding Dong would do a total personality 180 because of one gentle metaphor? Like,
What can I say? I'm an
that's how
optimist.
much, yeah, but like that's how much time that they showed with John.
John, yeah.
Yeah.
It worked for John. Well, kind of.
Right, but it's that time perspective thing where you assume maybe that there was a lot more time behind that, but then they sort of poked fun at it with Michael.
But I love that moment with Brent on the golf course of like he's got to do like, talking to Michael. I didn't take you for a linksman. I'm like, God, I hate golf people so much.
Golfing,
Yeah.
getting a hole in one and realizing it was like aim assist.
Oh yeah, and just like
Yeah.
the way the ball like lands, like circles around.
That's where that moment is where my line comes from for this episode.
Oh, is it to do with sneezing? Right.
Yes, it does, Mr. Dykes.
Shall we see if we can get Ryan to
Okay,
shout this
so
episode?
Ryan-
Go what I want. Go ahead and
Ryan's-
say it. Because
Brent's
there's
quote
so
is
many.
last.
There's so many in this episode that I have plenty of backup. So go ahead, Matt. Spill away.
I mean, either way, I like that. Like, I like Michael's attempt here. Like, let's turn the aim assist off and see how we do. And then we find out Brent's terrible at golf,
Yes.
as we
But
all
because
could have
of course
assumed
he
was.
is.
Yeah, of
Because,
course he is.
I mean, like, is it this episode where? Yeah, it is where they made s'mores on the trip and claimed to invent them.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
Of course, he sucks at golf.
like
Of
Brent,
course, he's the kind of person who, slices it and then blames someone else.
Yeah, like if the good place, what were they, like a panel collection? The
Yeah, I know from the
Oh
post.
yeah,
Yes.
the council, the
Yeah,
the
council,
council, sure,
something.
council. If they
Yeah.
were supposed to be a reflection of like the Democratic Party, oh boy, do we have a Republican in Brett. Like he pulls Trumpisms, he pulls a lot of, I made the joke before, he pulls a lot of Brett Kavanaugh stuff because like these were being written at the time the Brett Kavanaugh like trial, whatever it was, thing was going on with like his PJ and Squee nonsense. Like we get a lot of that stuff being like, you can feel the writers venting their frustrations with the ridiculousness of the American Republican Party through Brent, which is very funny. And also
Well,
very
there's
frustrating.
also a thing from like Bad Janet that who basically says like there are millionaires that are refusing to vaccinate their children or something
Yeah.
like
It was
that.
like women in $400 Yoda pants.
That
Yeah.
was it, yeah,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
it's just yep. People suck.
Yeah. And yay.
We don't deserve a good place.
No, probably not. What have we missed though? Like I'm sure we've missed something because this thing kind of ends.
I mean, I like Jason revealing his nickname, the Defendant.
Yeah.
That is pretty great.
That was on my quote short list. So
That was on mine.
Well, we haven't talked about the incident really. Like,
Yeah, I guess that's true. Let's
we
talk
have
about
like
that. Yeah.
I do like as well how Michael describes what Brent did. Brent did something Brenty.
He definitely did.
yeah,
And that was
'cause
right in the book. And then there's the actual book launch party, which
Yep.
turns into like a
Into an
bit
actual
of a
fight.
fist fight. Yeah.
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 And we don't
like-
see that's the first time we've ever seen fighting on the show.
Well,
Well,
Janet
and-
took out a whole bar of demons.
Well,
I was
yeah,
gonna say.
okay, there's that. But like between
There's that minor, incredible, amazing action sequence.
never mind.
but so much about
Remember,
this,
I'm watching these as we go.
so much of this episode is about everybody sort of pussyfooting around
Yeah.
Brent, right?
Yeah.
And sort of trying to frame it as in like, let's put kid gloves on him. And it wasn't until somebody said like, no, we need to be blunt and straightforward about it because it's the only way it's going to get through to him.
Well, it's
where
what
people actually learn
It's
Yeah.
what Simone says as well. She says like, why are we still dealing with this shirt in
the good place.
in the good
Yeah.
place? Like, and it makes sense. Why would you're in the good? Why would you be in the good place and still having to be putting up with like misogynistic, sexist, racist assholes who are just basically think that they know everything about everything?
And-
yeah.
Yeah, that makes like that frustration makes a lot of sense. It's a very real frustration that people in the real world have to deal with. Of like, why do I
Yeah.
have to change everything I'm doing because you're a forking asshole? Like,
Yeah.
Well, and
like-
especially now that she's past the threshold of understanding this isn't just her brain firing synapses.
like
It's-
this is
It's the thing, like, God, I cannot for the life of me remember what it is, but it's basically something about the tolerant, like when people who are hugely intolerant have a go at tolerant people because they have been intolerant to them. I
yeah,
can't remember what you actually call it, and it's that sort of thing. Like, yeah, why should tolerant people be tolerant of intolerant people, though? Like,
Yeah.
there are people out there who literally think that gay people should be executed, that women should be just basically,
barefoot and pregnant in your kitchen.
yeah,
Mhm.
Handmaiden's Tale, and
Yeah.
there's people who genuinely out there think that black people should still be slaves, and it's just like, why should we be tolerant of these people? We should be intolerant of them because they're intolerant. If we're tolerant to them, then they would win, because
Yeah.
tolerance is never going to defeat an intolerant person because they're
Yeah.
just going to overwhelm everything. And I can't remember what you actually call it, but it's something like the tolerance paradox or something like that.
But there is something very real to that, and this show does a good job depicting that in the afterlife of like.
That's what I was sorry. That's what I was meaning.
Yeah.
Like this episode kind of confronts that.
Yeah.
It kind of confronts that thing of like, why are we being tolerant to this person who is just so intolerant of us? Like he looks down on us. He talks down to us at every point. Like why should we
Clearly
be
thinks
putting
he's
up with
better than
this?
us in every
Yeah.
way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
And like, why do I have to spend time with this? And then like when
Yeah.
he finally gets pushed to his breaking point, eventually gets punched in the face, which is great to see.
Yes.
But he has those moments of like, this is canceled because of these mean women. It's like, good lord, man.
Yeah.
Like what
I was
is
like, right there, buddy. That's reword that.
There's his
You're-
little
you're
temper
different.
tantrum.
yeah.
And then you have Bad Janet's amazing description, like, oh, you know why they call them baby boomers?
So is Brent a baby boomer? We've established that.
I
Like,
I think he'd be a Gen Xer, but I think
yeah, I think age-wise he'd be Gen X.
yeah, I was
because-
just say. I mean, I know boomer is a state of mind more than anything.
Yeah.
At this point,
Yeah.
but
boomers are just easy ones to take the shots at. It's like boomers and millennials, like we're just punching bags.
Yep.
All right, so
Yeah, I've seen the world.
so here we are. The story is essentially done. Michael has told Bad Janet everything all the way up to the fight. It's gotten to the point of like everything seemed bottomed out. We're forked. It's over. And then the humans went, this sucks. We don't know where we're going. How do we fix it? And they put their heads together and they started coming up with a plan to fix it, which to Michael kind of proves his entire point of like the humans are not all bad or all good, but they have the capability to be good in any scenario. So here things are completely ruined. They could just throw caution to the wind and like, we're forked. Let's just do whatever we want until this thing runs out of time. Or they can double down their efforts and really try to fix things. And that's where they kind of leave it. Like they have proven Michael right. Michael feels at this point he was right about everything. And now he's going to try to bring Bad Janet onto his side. She's a bad Janet. It's probably not going to work. But that book they started writing way long ago when he was typing like an old man, like one letter at a time. And then Janet's like, oh, I'm just going to fill some stuff out here. They give
That was
that
season 2? No,
Two.
3. 3, I think it was. I think it was the end of season.
I
At
think
the
it was the end
beginning
of
of
3.
season 3.
because when they became humans again, they started writing it all out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's start of season 3 then.
Yeah. So that book has now come back and they gave it to Bad Janet, who was very excited at first to get Brent's book, not Brent's book, because Michael didn't have enough cash to buy it.
I love this. I love the point. Like, no, I didn't get Brent's because I didn't have enough cash on me. He could have just materialized the cash.
My favorite is, doesn't she say like, oh, people who get books as gifts always read them?
Every time I've watched this episode and I get to that line, I look at my bookshelf of all the books
Yeah,
I've received. Like, I really did want to read them. I honestly do.
I have received books as gifts, and I have read some of them.
I don't think she listened to this show, but my friend Thurza sent me a book once and said I would really like it. I'm like, I'll read it. She's right. I really liked it. But I think that might be the only book I actually read covered. No, my dad sent me Tegan and Sarah's High School, and I read that one. If you're ever been a fan of Tegan and Sarah, or you've ever been to high school, you should read Tegan and Sarah's High School. It's a phenomenal read. The audiobook's
No
great
idea
too
who
because
Tegan and Sarah are.
it's a pop band. They're lesbian twins from Canada who'd started doing pop music instead of going to college, and they're one of my favorite bands. They're phenomenal, and you should listen. They're great. This has been the Tegan and Sarah podcast. I would totally do a Tegan and Sarah podcast. They are one of my favorite. Like they're like my top 5 favorite bands. I love them. Where were we? Something about a good place.
I think we were
Books.
wrapping up actually.
Books and
Right.
gifts.
Books and gifts. So we were wrapping up. All right, let's move into quotes. Unless there's anything I missed. Was there anything I missed?
Well, there's that little cap at the very end of the episode where Simone's starting to figure out that it's not the good place.
Yes.
Yeah.
She starts making a little bit of a bullet point list, and one of the points is Brent's here, basically, or something.
Very fair hit. But if anyone was going to figure this out, it was going to be Simone.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I didn't want to give too much of a hint. I didn't want to spoil anything, but the next episode is pretty much the end of the experiment. I don't want to get too much more into that. And then we move into the rest of the season, which was the fallout from how did the experiment go? From pretty much help as other people on. I don't want to throw out a word like flawless, but I would say the rest of season 4 is damn near flawless.
Okay.
I love this season, and it's not because of the first half of it. I enjoy the first half. I think it's great. but once it clicks into where it's going, which will start in our next recording session, and I think next week, and next week, because we'll go through the next one. Will go through funeral to end all funerals. Some amazing stuff comes up, and and I absolutely love it. And unfortunately, we have to go through an entire another recording session until we get to my favorite line. But after the next recording session, we will be there. And
We
I'm
only have
excited.
2 recording sessions left, right?
I
Two.
believe
Because
so.
we're on episode 6, so that the next one will take us to episode 10. Then there's only 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
But the
After
other
that
one is we'll probably do 2 and then 1, because the other one is a 1 hour long finale, and we'll probably just do that as one episode, because there is a lot to talk about.
Is that the finale?
That's the finale. And I
So
would
technically
argue
we'd have 3. We'd probably have 3 recording sessions because we'd have to do the wrap up.
yes, and then we have to do the wrap up. But we'll probably include a special knife hand gentleman in the back half of that recording session, because that's how we like to do. Finish one, start the next one. But I will throw out there, in the next recording session on the episode Funeral to End All Funerals, we do have director Kristen Bell, and I'm excited for that.
It's the first thing that she directed, then.
I'm not sure, but I know I think it's the first episode she directed, and I think that's awesome. I love Kristen Bell. I think she's hysterical and super funny and amazingly talented, and I love that she got to direct an episode. So we get to talk about that next time. Quotes?
Yeah.
Let's do some quotes. I went first last week. That means Matt has to go first this week. I'm actually doing that on purpose, because that means he has to decide right now, and then he gets a lot of time to decide before the next one.
Yeah, that's true.
Little pain now for pleasure later. That came out wrong, but I'm okay with it.
I feel very confident with you in charge. In the words of my godfather, acting in what can only be described in hindsight as his most problematic role, you demand now, dog. As always, thank you for finding the quickest possible way to say things.
That was a good one.
I had to Google that to figure out who that is. I think
Randy Jackson.
No, I thought we were just talking about Sean Connery.
Okay.
Sean Connery, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was Randy Jackson.
No, Sean Connery from Finding Forrester. Did you guys know?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I haven't
No
seen
one
the
else-
film.
No one else who's Finding Forrester fans? I saw that in
one time. Just one time.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters and never went back. I literally went because of the trailer and that line of "You the man now, dog." Like, that's a movie I need to see. It's a must watch. My quote from this episode, it's mostly has really nothing to do with this episode, but mostly because of a conversation I had with both Chewy and Matt about Welsh people, specifically Christian Bale, because I found it very funny when I found out Christian Bale was Welsh, because I didn't know. And there's a point where they're trying to plan this party, and Eleanor throws out, like, we should have finger sandwiches. Finger sandwiches at this sort of party? What am I, Welsh? Are you? I don't know. No, right? And just the look on Tahani's face could not be more offended of, I'm not Welsh. I loved it.
I like the idea that they've gone that far without her knowing where she came from.
Hundreds of years, and they've never bothered to ask. Are you? I don't know. No, right? All right, Joel, you're up.
All right. Wait, can I have all my memories back? I forgot most of them.
That was on my short list.
Go ahead.
Mine is they're sitting off on the bank, or off the stage, and Jason goes, "Here's what I think. I think we should throw." Jason, what? I didn't say cocktail. I could have said Molotov, anything.
All right, what's your next episode?
The next episode was when they were golfing. I mean, there's a lot that I could say from this episode, but he shakes it, and he goes, "Oh God, what did he say? A fork, you sneezed, man." I didn't sneeze because I literally can't.
A good one. All right, Joel, you're up.
This was a tough one.
It was.
All right. Chip Driver pulled up to the murder site in his 1968 Cadillac. "Keep it close," he growled to the valet, Luis. "Of course, senor," said Luis, who secretly admired Chip more than even his own father. Chip gazed at the sexy outline of the murder victim on the floor. "What a waste of curves," he growled. He checked his Rolex watch, which was real. It was almost 12 o'clock, so the case would have to wait. Good thing he'd already solved it. The killer was Louise, the valet.
His Rolex watch, which was
It was
real,
real.
absolutely genius. Like,
Yes.
oh, I love it. All right, I'm between a couple on this episode. This one's tough. I had a lot from the other one that I'm gonna have to go back to because there's some really great ones. But I guess I'm gonna go. I already kind of mentioned it. I never win hottest. I don't know what to tell you, man. Do some squats. Pop that booty a bit. The fact that there's so much behind the scenes footage of Ted Danson trying to learn how to floss and then have that line, it just makes me really like. I love it. You know, there's different shots of almost every cast member trying to teach him how to floss. It's adorable.
Is that the dance that he does in the IHOP? Or
Yep.
is that...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's why they were trying to teach him because he couldn't do it. All right, Matt, what's your other one?
Her name was Scarlet Pakistan, and she was the type
Yeah.
of girl you couldn't take in all at once, or you die. You had to take her in bit by bit, like a great work of art, like the Louvre. Her brown eyes were as brown as the brownest Kent crayon. She had legs like Jessica Rabbit from that movie. Her long flowing locks smelled like moon on a twilight at a par 4. Ugh, I'm sorry about this. I've been through worse. Once at Elon Musk's birthday party, I was seated between Silvio Berlusconi and Elon Musk.
God, this episode. I mean, just these two have so much.
I'm going to throw out a plug for a podcast I have absolutely no relation to whatsoever, but just his book. If you really enjoyed this guy's book, it's going to be way, way more graphic and perverted. Do not listen without headphones. Listen to My Dad Wrote a Porno.
Oh, yeah.
One
That's
of the
so
best
good.
podcasts in the history of podcasts, way better than anything I've ever produced in the 10 years of podcasting I've been doing. My Dad Wrote a Porno, one of the best shows you could possibly listen to, at least the first 3 seasons. And then the dad knows that they're writing it, and then it kind of, it's not as great after that. First 3, though, perfection in podcast. That's all I'm going to say. Watch it. Listen to it with headphones because it is filthy. And I mean filthy. But knowing that this dude's dad wrote all of it makes it that much funnier. You need to listen to this show. All right.
It goes mental as well as the story. Like,
oh my God.
It's so good.
Belinda is a thirsty lady, is all I'm going to say. Very big-breasted, always needs her thong straight.
You will not look at a pomegranate the same way again.
Or the rivets of the Titanic.
Yeah, the rivets of the Titanic as well.
It's some good stuff.
That's Binge Buddies. We're just going to listen to other people's podcasts.
That'd be hilarious. That would be
that would actually be a good one to do,
be like,
to be honest.
Because just call that one meta.
It's
and then,
episodic.
All right. Some quotes we missed that I absolutely need to talk about because I'm gonna be very, very upset if we don't. Derek has some great moments when he has to run the town, but in particular, his one line just killed me. When Tahani's having her meltdown, she's very upset, and she finds Derek, who's out there dealing with all the crazy little Janet babies. He goes, "Well, I guess I'm going back to the lake house because that's all I'm good for." And Derek, with his crazy hair going nuts, just looks at her and goes, "Okay." Just does not care. Oh, but it warmed my heart. Anybody else have any ones that were missed?
It was a real high point. The ski trip, I mean, not the completely rigged hotness contest.
Yeah.
I liked when Michael's going in the last episode. He's talking to Jason. He goes, "We gave Chidi and Eleanor their memories, and we're now going to give you yours. Or we delayed on giving you yours for obvious reasons."
That one's great. I love the end of that episode. Jason trying to like cheer up Michael. It's okay to feel or plead guilty.
And just because we brought up Nick Foles in the last episode. You want a complot? I'll give you a complot. I don't think it was possible to write a book as awful as yours. I literally didn't think human beings were capable of being such racist, sexist poppycock. Also, Chip Driver is either a private eye or a quarterback for the Chicago Bears or the world's strongest president. He cannot be all three.
Good stuff.
You know, it actually feels more like torture when you discuss your acting process.
What in the name of Kevin Spacey's self-made Christmas Eve video message to try to get back on House of Cards is going on here?
That great line, great
Yes.
moment, internet history. Like, it's absolute phenomenal.
They're all killing it. But Brent has definitely made the most progress. Yeah, when Simone beat him at cards, he didn't flip the table and stormed off. He just stormed off. That's a big.
Or my final one, then I'll be done. When the Michael suit comes out on the stage, I didn't okay this. I know, but I'm Vicky. I'm a total munch. That's true. Good point.
Who's in there? Glenn? Makes sense. Get an idiot to play an idiot. I begin to wonder where you were, Glenn. I'm right here in Jason. Definitely not a big bucket of goo.
Shut up, Glenn.
All right. We're ready for plugs.
Yeah.
Cool. This show, every other show, ATH Network, athpod.com. I'm done.
After That's podcast from ATH.com. I am loving Dune, guys.
Are you really? Are you
I'm
just saying
net-
that?
I'm
Are you
net
saying
deep. The world may never know. Super GG Radio video games. 9 Souls. If you like Metroidvanias that are very parry heavy and difficult.
You're the third person to recommend that game to me this week. There might be something there.
I have heard people compare it to Sekiro. Brian.
Those are the people recommending it to me. Because I finished Sekiro. Oh, I finished Sekiro. I'm proud. That's like
That sounds oddly sexual the way you said that. Then
play Sekiro. You'll find out. Play Sekiro and find out. Sekiro is life. I need to play that game. Sorry, I totally stomped on your plugs there because I got very excited about anything remotely related to Sekiro.
No, I'm good. I'm ready to go and play more. So
perfect. Ryan, what you plugging?
I'm on the Front Row Network occasionally.
What's the Front Row Network?
I don't know.
The network that's at the front. Right.
I'm just gonna
If
say
you
that.
like certain,
Hey, I don't mean to throw shade at an entire network, but the front row is famously the worst place to sit in any movie theater.
Yeah.
Take that for what you will, front row. Throwing some shade.
I don't know. Maxine was pretty good in the front row.
No, it was not. I'm just happy we got to see it.
What, Brian? I can't hear you. I'm too busy signing up.
This is great.
I mean, the only film I've ever seen at the cinema where we were stuck at the front row was Die Another Day. Take that as you will.
Isn't that the Pierce Brosnan one?
That's the terrible Pierce Brosnan film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's the last Pierce Brosnan film, which...
No, then the terrible one is The World's Not Enough. I get those two mixed up. The one with
I
Denise
like
Richards.
The World Is Not Enough.
I like Die Another Day.
Die Another Day is awful.
It's pretty bad.
It's awful.
It's got jelly water in it.
It's got Denise Richards in it.
No, The World Is Not Enough.
I'll give you
that's
that
the one I'm complaining about.
I'll give you that one. But
Denise
Sophie
Richards
McHugh
is a
good
nuclear...
villain.
As Dr. Christmas? Get the fork out of here.
Listen, if I could change
Dr.
anything about
Jones.
it, Renard and Sophie McHugh are good Bond villains.
All I'm finding out now is that maybe we should do Bond on this show if it gets us this fired up.
It does.
You can see Joel's face of fork. All right.
Joel's face is like,
Bye.
does he have to read the books as well? This is
No, you don't have to read the books. Although the books are very short if you did want to read them. I have most of them. They're very like novellas, itty bitty things. Bye.
Bye.
The weirdest out ever.
Go for